Hey guys, welcome into the Starcastic Remarks Studios. My name is Ryan, and I am the host of Starcastic Remarks. It's taking every ounce of my being not to go off right now. And this is the after-game review for game number 58 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stars lose by a final score of 4-0 tonight. But first, before we get into anything else here tonight, we want to thank DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor, not just for the Hockey Podcast Network, but also for our show as well. They allow us to do everything that we do on this network, so thank you to them. And please go and use their promo code next time you go and use their app for a special little offer from them. Also as well, anytime you guys have any comments here for tonight, especially because I am alone here tonight, Chris had to sub for a softball team here tonight, and then James, of course, is working. He's doing his job. So any comments that you guys have, please leave them in the comment section down below. And especially tonight with me being by myself, I'm going to pull up some of your comments and talk about them tonight. So biggest takeaways coming out of tonight's game is that Jake Ottinger is still the real deal. He was making astronomical saves when he shouldn't have to, and even in the last minute of the third period, he made two gargantuan, mastodonic, egregious saves that he shouldn't have to make. And unfortunately for him, he absolutely got no help tonight. So I can feel my blood boiling right now. So going into tonight's game, the Toronto Maple Leafs are a top 5 team. They are. They're a good team, and especially offensively. Okay, so I expected that, but I halfway expected for the Stars this evening to come in and play really good defense, and that was the furthest thing from the truth for tonight. And it doesn't make sense why the Stars do this. They do this. It just seems to be a thing. How do you come in to a game like this when you know that you just lost two in a row, and your goaltender gives up a fantastic outing for your team, for your team? How are you going to come in and give absolutely no effort whatsoever? There was no compete level tonight. And that's the thing that I'm frustrated more than anything. I'm sitting here yelling in front of my daughter there in the background. I'm frustrated more than anything. I don't care that we lost to Toronto. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't. This is not like those games where we had games against, the Vancouver Canucks and against the Montreal Canadiens. This is a top 5 team in the league. I don't mind losing to them. And it hurts a little bit less because it's in the Western Conference. There was no compete tonight. There was absolute zero compete tonight from anybody. Nobody. And I swear, if Rick Bowness doesn't go off on his team right now, and he's not doing that, I'm pissed. You get a grade A level goaltending outing by a young player. Absolute fantastic. Made probably about 5 or 6 mastodonic saves tonight. Huge, ginormous saves to keep this team in a possible game. And he still gives up 3 goals. No defense, no compete, absolutely no offense. I don't understand. My frustration level right now, the way that I'm feeling as a Stars fan, better be Bowness's frustration level with his team. Because if that's not the case, I'm pissed. I'm absolutely pissed. And I'm not going to get into the whole fire Bowness thing and stuff like that, because he does a lot of things that I disagree with, but it's not going to change. Bowness needs to go off on this team. Okay? I understand that I don't care about the fact that we lost to the Maple Leafs. I really don't. I'll say it again. We had no compete. There was nothing. Not through any of the periods. There was not one instance when I thought that this team was 100% competing. Up against the boards. Anything. I'm just frustrated because this team, we see so much potential in this team. This team has to win. They have to win these games. They have to win these games. They have to win. They have to win. They don't have a choice at this point. Other than the New York Islanders, we have played the least amount of games. We have about 2 or 3 games in hand on the teams that are ahead of us right now, and they're in the playoffs. We have a better winning percentage because we've had less games, but it does you no good if you freaking don't if you don't win these games. If you don't take care of business, if teams are better than us, great, then that's not their fault. That's not their fault whatsoever. If you go out there and you lay a goose egg to a goaltender who is making his NHL debut start, it was not his first game. He played in relief the game before. But you allow him to have an easy game. All they had to do was just throw everything at the puck. Just take the puck and throw it at the net. Anything would have been better than what they did tonight. If I'm Jim Nill, if I'm Rick Bowness, if I'm anybody, any kind of coaching staff member, I'm ripping my players a new one right now. All of them. All of them. We cannot be a one-line team. We cannot. We absolutely cannot. There was no scoring tonight from anybody. Anything. Well, I'm thinking about it. Let me go ahead and get into this whole, let's put the old big three together and see what happens. Maybe I can go off on Bowness tonight because part of that is his fault. 2 goals against that second line. Keefe knew something. Sheldon Keefe, the coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs, knows something the Dallas Stars fans know, and they know about this. It's the fact that when you put those 3 players together, it doesn't work. And yet Bowness continues. He continues to go to this. This is about the 4th or 5th time that he has taken Radulov and put him with Seguin and Benn. It doesn't work. Stop. Put somebody else. Anybody. Raffle. Heck, I don't even care if you take Peterson and put him on the second line. He was a healthy scratch tonight. Put the new guy in, Studenic, whatever his name is. Hi, Amanda. I think I'm scaring Amanda a little bit tonight. Put him in on the second line instead. Anything. Something. Don't put Radulov on the second line. We've seen through the season that it doesn't work, and we keep going back to it. I don't care about the fact that they lost tonight. That's not what I care about. It's that we keep going back to these things that don't work. They don't work. Radulov, Benn, and Seguin, it was amazing 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. It was absolutely amazing. They were what the first line for us this year is now. They were fantastic. They were putting up points like crazy. Radulov was the lowest of the 3, and he was getting 60 points a year. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Do not put Radulov with Benn and Seguin. And it was Bowness himself put his own team down 2-0 tonight. It was him. It was his decision to put Radulov with those 2 guys. Yes, the players are more than responsible for, I'd say, maybe 60-70% of this game tonight. But that decision by Bowness tonight to put Radulov with Benn and Seguin was, he owns 30% of the fault here tonight. And I apologize, guys, but I care about the reason why I'm yelling at this. I'm sitting here yelling on the internet to people who really don't care about my opinion all that much. Is that this is we're going for the playoffs. It's not like we're the Anaheim Ducks who just sold off Josh Manchester, and we're kind of telling the NHL, okay, we're not going for it. We've talked about getting in the playoffs. This team has played well enough to get into the playoffs. I feel like I'm going through puberty again. Man, my voice is getting high pitched. But it was just a lack of effort tonight from everybody except for Ottinger. And then it was that terrible coaching decision by Bones. It was an absolute terrible coaching decision. That's what it was. And between those two things, one positive and one negative, the biggest negative of all is the fact that they just didn't compete tonight. That's why I'm gonna call this episode tonight when I put it up on the actual RSS feed where it goes out, and it'll be available tomorrow morning. It's gonna be called Compete, because that's what they didn't do tonight. It didn't matter where they were on the ice tonight. In all three periods of the game, there was no compete. In the offensive zone, and you know what? I'll go ahead and even say this. Dump and chase kind of works for the Stars. And Bowness has proven to me and to us that, sometimes it works. And sometimes the Stars are able to play that style of game and win. And do it that way. But if you don't go after, it's not going to work. That's half of dump and chase. And all they were doing tonight was dumping in the offensive zone. It would literally be dump in, go after it, and then absolute, maybe a scrum in the corner or something like that. And that was about it. And on the rare occasion that the Stars would get some shots off, the shots were all from the point. And if we had any kind of shot that was within 5 feet of Shalgren, which, real quick, shout out to him. Congratulations. That's a big deal to get your first NHL start, to win it and get a shout out. So hats off to him real quick. But anyway, if you pass the puck to the slot, you have to get it on net. And that's been a consistent thing over this entire season that we've talked about that the Stars keep doing. For a while, it was just, I think it was Sagan. Sagan was missing the net completely. And now it seems to be Gurianov is missing the net completely, which, by the way, Gurianov looked better in today's game. I don't know if it was because he was on the line or whatever, but yeah, that whole experiment with the old big three lasted maybe half a period, and that was about it. So, but the other thing I wanted to point out tonight, and I need to get into the goal summary before I go off anymore, but is if you're gonna do a style of game like dump and chase, you have to do the other side. Okay? It requires a lot of energy, and that's fine. If you want to play that way, which a lot of teams don't nowadays, a lot of the teams is get a creative play, go in, pass the puck around, and get creative with it. And that's fine that the Stars don't play that way because they find a way to win. But if you're going to do the dump and chase way, you have to have a lot of energy. And that was not there at all tonight. It was absolutely not there. There was no compete. So I'm going to leave it at that and get into the goal summary for tonight's game. So anyway, going into tonight's game, the goal summary is pretty short. Stars get absolutely nothing. There were no fantastic scoring chances, I didn't think. And a majority of the scoring chances were for Toronto, and Ottinger was standing on his head tonight. Absolutely standing on his head. Rasmus Sandin would get a backhand goal from Mitch Marner and John Tavares at 7:22 into the first period, so we're around the 13-minute mark. And that was 1-0 Toronto right off the bat. And through those first 7 minutes, I just knew we were going to lose the game. Just knew. And even in our a little group chat that I'm a part of on Twitter, we talked about, Matthews is out, and there's a rookie goaltender who's making his first NHL start. The Stars are going to make him look like a Vezina caliber candidate. So that's exactly what happened tonight. Exactly. Anyways, later in the first period, John Tavares would get his 20th of the year from William Nylander and Liljegren. Willie Nylander, it was a good shot, and John Tavares, it must be really nice if you're Sheldon Keefe to be like, oh, Matthews is out. Okay, John Tavares, go ahead. You're going to be our first-line center. That must be really nice, because if that was for us, it would basically be, Roope Hintz is out. Okay, Jamie Benn, now you're the first-line center. Anyways, it was 2-0 going into the first intermission. And in that first intermission, it was really, 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 really bad. Throughout the whole first period, you could tell that the Stars had no energy. Otter himself was actually not all that great in the first period. He was okay, but there were a lot of saves that you really wished that he had gotten. But regardless, the Stars did not give him any kind of goal support whatsoever tonight. So, I can't really say anything about that. Going into the second period, there were no goals in the second period. The Stars did play better in the second period. They pushed a little bit. But we've talked about this not just this year, but the last several years. The Stars will get opportunities and will get chances, but will not bury them. Absolutely will not bury them. And, we've talked about that with, Stars legend Mattias Janmark. Mattias Janmark would get chances all the time, and it would seem like he would never bury it in the back of the net. Michael Raffl has seemed to take that mantra up, and now he's the new Mattias Janmark. So we're just not getting any kind of scoring like that. And that's been a thing ever since the 2015-2016 season when, and Razor pointed this out, when the Stars were a run and gun team. And yeah, we didn't do fantastic that season. I think we won the Western Conference. We were the best team, and then we were out in the first round. But here's my thought. Here's my thought. There's got to be a healthy balance between the 2015-16 Stars, who were just absolutely lights out offensively, and then the Stars team now. There has to be a healthy center. Has to be. And it doesn't seem that that's the case with the Stars. So I don't know, but random thought for the night going into the second intermission. In the third period, Ondrej Kase would get his 13th of the year from Morgan Rielly and Mitch Marner. So even though Matthews is not in the game tonight, shoot, they don't even need him in tonight's game. All they needed was Rasmus Sandin's first goal, and they would have been fine. And that was a power play goal, by the way. So, they talked about in the second intermission, I was watching on the TV side, and Brian Ray and Sevi both were saying, in the first 5 minutes, this is going to be really, 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 really critical. We got to kill off this penalty, and you got to get a goal early, right? Literally the exact opposite happened. Within the first minute, 52 seconds into the third period, Kase gets that goal. It's a power play goal, and that's the game right there. At that point, I knew that if there was any kind of hope, it was gone. So, anyways, later into the third period, the Stars were literally doing nothing. They were passing the puck around, maybe getting some chances, but it still wasn't good enough. Not good enough at all. And Ilya Mikheyev would put the empty netter in at 18:36 of the third period, so roughly a minute and a half remaining, and that would be his 11th of the year from Morgan Rielly. 3 stars of the game, obviously Erik Källgren, which I never knew that, by the way, random thought. A K in Swedish is apparently an SH sound. That's what Josh Bogorod was saying. He was saying Källgren all night instead of Källgren. So anyways, Erik Källgren, see, now I'm screwing it up. Erik Källgren would get the first star of the game. John Tavares would get the second star. Rasmus Sandin would get the third star. Even if you wanted a Dallas Star to be one of the 3 stars. The only person it could have been tonight was Jake Ottinger. That was it. I mean, he was the only one that had any kind of chance of doing that. And I know that the Stars got 35 shots on goal tonight, but none of them were huge, honestly. And I know that Toronto is, coming in tonight's game and saying, okay, we don't have our best goal scorer. He's out for 2 games because he got suspended. We don't have either of our top 2 goaltenders, or maybe top 3. I guess I don't know who. Joseph Wall. I thought it was their number 3, but I guess not. But Campbell's hurt apparently. Mrazek's apparently wasn't doing anything tonight either. So they go with this dude, and yeah, he wasn't overly tested tonight. Yeah, they were shooting pucks at him, but that was about it. There were not many dangerous chances in front of Shalgren tonight. I don't know. So, but anyway, here's some stats for y'all tonight. Face-off percentage. Woohoo! We won 56-44. Congratulations. That's like the one category we did okay in. Stars were 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. By the way, we had 3 power plays in the second period and did absolutely nothing with it. The Toronto Maple Leafs for 1 for 2 on the power play. Hits 42-31 in favor of the Stars tonight, which that's not a good thing if you have a bunch of hits and you lost a game that bad. It just means you didn't possess the puck at all. Block shots tonight, 13-12 in favor of Toronto. Giveaways, 12-10 in favor of Toronto. And takeaways, 12-5 in favor of Toronto. So I don't really put a lot of, pizzazz into giveaways and takeaways, especially when it's at somebody else's rink. Those are kind of useless stats in my opinion. But anyway, still that's kind of bad. Takeaways 12-5. That at least means that we were giving the puck away at least 12 times, where the Maple Leafs forced us to. Shots on goal per period in this game tonight. Dallas 13-10 in the first. In the second, 18-13 in favor of the Maple Leafs. And in the third, 12-9 in favor of the Maple Leafs. And final shots on goal in tonight's game, 40-35 in favor of the Maple Leafs. And the other thing about this is when you look at the shots on goal, our best period was probably the second period. And we got outshot. Knowing that we needed something big in this game, especially going into the third period, you would expect the Stars to come out and at least have something going into the third period where you're not going to get shut out by an AHL level goalie who's making his first start. But we got outshot by 3. We got outshot by 3. No compete. That's the mantra in tonight's game is there is no compete. So, well, I have thoroughly ignored y'all's comments here tonight so far, but let me go ahead and pull up some of your comments here. Alex, the Stars' ability to make mediocre goalies look like superstars is unparalleled. I like that word, unparalleled. You are 100% correct. And Alex, thank you. It's actually not let me. Oh, there it goes. It's not letting me bring it up now. Toronto has given up 4.6 goals per game in their last 12 against some of the worst teams in the league. And one of the things I was yelling at when I was watching the game was the fact that the Maple Leafs gave up 7 goals to the Detroit Red Wings, who are not in a playoff spot right now at all. They're not even close. And we can't even get one. Alex also saying, I'll go off for you. I think I went off for about 10 minutes tonight, so I think that's pretty good. Troy on Facebook. Hey, Troy, thank you for listening. Dallas Stars or Dallas Streaks? Falling Stars, consistently inconsistent. Yeah, all of those things. Streaks, I mean, they're streak slayers at one point, and then in the other point, they're, bad streaks, I guess. I can't think of another word to say it. And consistently inconsistent. We've said numerous times about the Stars in this podcast, in this show, that there's just no consistency. They're not consistently bad. They're not consistently good. Man, words are hard tonight. And it's just frustrating. Alex also saying that save on Nylander's deflection was fantastic. Yep, and I even put this on Twitter. I was like, Ryan, you're going to enjoy that save because that's the only good thing happening tonight. Oh, Fernando, this game made me lose hope. Shut out by a scrub AHL goalie. I'm not fully losing hope at points yet. Do I think they make the playoffs? No. That's just, I've said that for months now, and I have to back that up because that's what I've said for months. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I'm not fully losing hope. But this game definitely does not help. It really does not help. Let me see. Bones is garbage. Agree and disagree. Mostly agree. The decision to put the Radulov line put Radulov with Benn and Seguin was a absolute terrible idea. And, I mean, that line was already -2 within the first 20 minutes of the game. So, but I hear you, Ryan, but Bones knows what's wrong, and they will fix it. Well, I hope you're right. I hope he does it. So, let's see as I'm scrolling through here. I don't know. Preach, Ryan, preach. Yeah, I kind of lost my cool there for a little bit. So, yeah. Alex again saying Radulov is gone. I don't know what happened to him, but he just looks completely lost out there. I can't explain what's going on with Radulov this season. We've talked about it a couple of times, but maybe not enough. And the fact that Radulov just nosedived when it comes to offensive points. I think he has 2 goals in the season, and that's about it. I remember his second goal was a very, very big one and a very important one in one of these games recently, but still. Anyway, Alex, thank you for listening. Eric saying, how many times have you said lack of effort this year, Ryan? Maybe 50% of the losses. That is bad. Yeah. And I'll say it again. If we lose and we have effort, then I don't feel bad because the team was just better than us that night. And if we don't make the playoffs when we're giving I know I'm not expecting 100% effort every single night. I know there's games where things happen like this, where we don't give 100%. But, 90-95% of the time, that kind of competitiveness, that kind of energy that you need, especially with the style the way that they play. It's just the style they play. You have to have energy in order to compete at this level. So, anyways, let me pull up a couple more and then we'll call it here for tonight. Troy saying forecheck, throw bodies. Yeah. And we've had it. We've had a strong forecheck in the past before. And it's just not consistent. And it goes back to what I said over a month ago. Consistently inconsistent with this team. I did want to pull up one comment that I saw earlier. Alex, go back to a Lindy Ruff style game. I'll say it one more time. I don't agree with that. I don't think we need to go back to a Lindy Ruff style game, but there has to be a healthy balance between Lindy Ruff and between Rick Bowness. Maybe once Lindy Ruff gets fired from New Jersey, maybe he can come here and maybe we can have co-head coaches and that would be absolutely perfect. Or maybe we can invent a machine where you can have where they can basically become one person. Here, Ref, you stand over there. Bonus, you stand over there. We're going to combine you, and you're going to become one person. How about that? I don't know. But, anyways, I don't... Alex, one more time. Okay. This game could be a tipping point for nil. I agree. Yeah. And especially with the fact that the less than a week away, and we've got Klingberg, who is a UFA, and it doesn't look like we Well, I don't know about if he's getting re-signed or not, because like Saad came out and said that it's, still the same, and then ESPN is reporting that like apparently they're close now on an extension. I don't know who's right, who's wrong, but typically I would lean more towards Saad just because he's local and he has the connections better than ESPN probably would. So I don't know, but that's just what I would go with. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut it off for here tonight. I think I'm going to go play some video games here tonight and just kind of chill out for a little bit. I may even stream it here on our social media accounts tonight just for fun, just to see how it goes. I've been working on it, and I might stream some NHL 21 or something like that, or maybe some Madden. I'm working on the new NHL 22. I'm downloading it right now. I just don't have it quite yet. But anyways, I may just stream some video games just to feel better about tonight and getting through tonight. But anyways, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, please go and use DraftKings Sportsbook. They're a huge sponsor for us. We'd really appreciate it if you'd use the promo code THP, and the next time you go and use the app for a special little offer from them. Lets them know that we're the ones that sent you, and they also support us and the entire THPN. So thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for that. Make sure you go and follow us on all of our social media accounts. We have just about everything. The only thing we don't have, I think, is TikTok. We're working on that too. But, we've got Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, the whole shebang. So make sure you guys go and follow. And also, if you would click like and subscribe anywhere you are, whether you're listening to this on the podcast side or you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, whatever, we'd really appreciate that. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. Maybe see y'all in about half an hour. Maybe do some streaming with some video games. So we'll see. Okay? We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good night.